Well, I tell the story in the CD program notes. I met Bob while I was in college, and he gave me a job, a summer job, what I was very grateful for. And when I took this job, I expected to sort of be working with an older guy who would, a veteran who would sort of show me the ropes. And he did do all those things. But he also treated me as a real colleague. And I'll never forget that sort of kindness and consideration he showed me. And as I made clear in some of my statements, Bob really was like a model to me of what a musician should be. And the idea of working with composers was something I was very much focused on. And I have been really focused on that ever since. The opening piece, Briarwood Variations with Stephen Tchaikovsky on cello. It's hard to imagine a cello and a trumpet existing as an equal duet, but Bob has found this common ground. And Stephen, of course, is a marvelous musician, really plays the cello in what I like to think of as sort of a global way, because he's also a conductor. And he's a great cellist, but he sort of sees beyond his instrument. On the other end of the spectrum, the stanzas piece for soprano saxophone with Rick Humphreys. I've known Rick forever. And the soprano saxophone is almost really like a reed trumpet. So if any piece on this record sort of revels in this sonic power, it's stanzas. And the trumpet and the soprano saxophone really sort of proudly project in this piece in a very interesting way. The piece is also largely notated in an improvisational kind of way, so it's very fresh and different every time you play it. The Melbourne Drive trio, where Suzanne and I are joined by our daughter Leanna, sort of a kaleidoscopic set of sections. It's like a sort of a conversation going on between the three instruments. I think Bob really represents what being a musician in America means. He's a marvelously educated conductor and trumpeter who has conducted and performed all the varieties of traditional music that you can imagine. And jazz is a very strong element there too. And I should say the element of improvisation is there as well. Not just jazz improvisation, but spontaneity in performing music that's notated, but notated in such a way that gives a great deal of freedom to the performer. Jazz is classical music. It really is America's classical music contribution to world culture, which is a fact often recognized more overseas than in our home country. And Bob feels this very deep in his soul, and it comes out. It comes out in the unaccompanied trumpet works, where suddenly I'll play a bit of plunger mute, which might remind somebody of Cootie Williams or earlier Bubber Miley with the Duke Ellington Orchestra. Glisses and kind of turns of phrase that you might have heard Roy Eldridge or Kenny Dorham play. But for me, in my personal opinion, being an American trumpet player not only means being able to play Bach and Mahler, to interpret the great classical works of the late 1700s of Mozart and Haydn. It also means knowing what Duke Ellington meant. It also means knowing what Louis Armstrong meant. This is our American culture, and I think should be celebrated. And it's great to see when that does happen. And I certainly, when Bob strikes this chord that comes out of his heart, it really strikes the same with mine. And it's a real privilege to take part in that kind of music making.